More specifically, before we get to something Steve pointed out that's an interesting conversation going on in the chat, K Jazzar back with Matayo Uiagalelei. Will he end up at Ohio State as an edge rusher? Do you have any confidence there?
I had myself muted so I could cough. Much to the chagrin of Tim Prangley in the chat, who I think seems to believe that he's going to SC, I tend to think Matayo's going to Ohio State. And that's not just a matter of reading Big Dave, on Twitter and everything that's been there. I just think that the relationship's there. And I mean, it's not like his brother stuck around at home. So it's not like that there's a history of these kids being homebodies and needing to, be that close to the family unit or whatever. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if he ended up at SC. But I kind of read his comments as saying it was like SC1, Oregon 2. Who cares? Number 3. I'm adding a little bit of color to the conversation there. I see it differently. I'm under the impression Ohio State feels pretty good there too, but it's recruiting, so you don't know. I I can kind of put it to the same situation with like Troy Bowles. Ohio State feels really good about Troy Bowles. Georgia feels really good about Troy Bowles. Somebody's going to be wrong at the end of the day. Maybe we should ask the press ginger. I don't know.
I think somebody crystal balled Troy Bowles to Georgia today, from what I understand. But take that for whatever it's worth. I think Matayo had a great visit to Ohio State, but as you get away from that visit, it kind of lessens the impact as things go on, the recency bias and all that, and also perhaps a locale bias as well. If it's closer for him to go and play somewhere closer to home, USC, wherever that might be, maybe that's a consideration as well.
Yeah, I see Brian Hartline's name mentioned all over the place in the chat, and I tweeted this out today. But today is the 18th anniversary of the day he committed to Ohio State. So a day that will be recognized forever as long as Brian Hartline sticks around. And then if he ever leaves, then forget about it. Just don't even commemorate it anymore. But 18 years ago today, so his commitment is now old enough to buy cigarettes. Or no, I think you got to be 21 for that.
Yeah, they've changed that now. I don't know what you could do at 18. Whatever you could do at 18, I was doing at 16, and whatever you could do at 21, I was doing at 18. So
I'm old enough to remember watching him run the hurdles at the state track meet in 2003, 2004, whenever that was. So, yeah, that's been a good long time ago, certainly.
What database is keeping track of when Brian Hartline committed?
Well, it was a research thing that I was doing to check on some old Ohio State coaches. Not that Brian Hartline is old, but like looking back at their recruiting and their commitment stories and dates and stuff. And I actually found 3 different dates and then got it finalized. I used BSB, Steve, to give me the exact date.
Authority.
So, and it said, in the story on June 28th, I'm like, that's good enough for me.
At least up through 2003, it was the authority.
Yeah, I remember picking up the magazine from Big Bear because it was too cheap to buy it, so I had to get the free ones.
Interestingly,
went out of business.
They listed him his junior year as having like 40 catches for 300 yards, but he went to Ohio State's camp and earned an offer.
Yeah, no doubt.
I can't imagine that Brian Hartline is not breaking enough tackles to do better than like 8 yards per catch in high school. But, man, looking at Matayo's size and measurables here, 6'4", 255, he's about as big as his brother. And considering how his brother threw the ball last year, he might have wanted to go the edge rush position himself. But we shall see.